Hey guys, welcome back to Trendy Gadget. Today we'll talk about why you should never buy an AMD graphics card. Let's head into it. The problems. It's no secret that AMD is struggling to iron out some driver-related problems with the Radeon RX 5000 GPUs at this point. Typically, when releasing a new GPU series, we like to give both AMD and Nvidia a few months to iron out bugs, especially when they are based on a new architecture or mostly new, as was the case for Turing and Navi. With Turing, Nvidia went through a fair share of teething problems, but we think it's fair to say they very quickly went on top of any major issues. AMD, on the other hand, had to sort out Navi for 7 months, and by the looks of it, they just couldn't deliver. We've received countless reports of crashes, flickering problems, and the back screen bug, of course. Negative backlash. Meanwhile, they still recognize the random black screen problem with the disabled hardware acceleration workaround in the most recent 20.2.1 release notes. They also say a black screen may occur when performing a mode change, with a limited number of displays on Radeon RX 5700 series graphics products.
And then I went swapping monitors and everything, and all of a sudden, I get this. I'm in Windows right now.
In other words, AMD is still working on fixing the black screen bug several months after launch. As we understand, it still persists for some users, if the situation has improved a lot. Given that we ourselves have not encountered any major bugs, we decided to run a poll to try and find out how many AMD users are affected and get some feedback on the issues they face. Nearly half of all AMD users who took part in the survey responded yes. With the Radeon GPU, they have or have had serious problems. The survey indicates that 47.5% of all AMD users have suffered major problems, while we see less than half of that figure at 22% for Nvidia users. The poll was conducted as a general question, and we didn't specifically target Navi, but most AMD users claim to be running a 5700 series graphics card based on the comments that went below the poll. Of course, there's going to be some dodgy votes in there, but we don't think a few fanboys, after collecting over 49,000 votes, are going to skew the data too heavily. That's a large enough sample size to prove that AMD has a significant issue they need to address: problems after updates. Over the years, after updates, we've run into numerous issues with AMD and sometimes Nvidia drivers. The solution is always to reboot into safe mode, delete all the display drivers, then load the driver package back into Windows and install it from scratch. The drivers of AMD appear particularly delicate, and this has been the case for as long as I can remember.
A lot of you have been having this issue, and unfortunately, I've lost a lot of work and a lot of time.
For AMD, drivers has always been an uphill battle, but they have sometimes managed to get on top of things and make the most of their GPUs. 4th Gen GCN is a good example, though it took them about 12 months to squeeze out the hardware all possible performance. Stability never seemed to be a problem. That architecture is the 4th iteration. Worse than Nvidia cards. We've heard countless stories over the years about how average old Nvidia bullied AMD, and while some of these stories are true, I can't help but feel that AMD kicked AMD the hardest. It was let down by drivers back in the good old days, when AMD had superior graphics technology. Popular titles such as League of Legends, which suffered from stuttering and poor performance relative to the Nvidia competition, were well known to play poorly with Radeon GPUs.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
They have to offer a similar or superior experience than Nvidia for AMD to charge comparable prices, and they're failing at that right now. As we dive into our Amazon sales data, it seems many of you agree. Basically, readers always seem to favor Nvidia whenever competing AMD and Nvidia products arrive at a comparable cost per frame. With the RX 5700 and the RTX 2060, we saw this when both were priced at $350. The worst case scenario is that it's devastating for the business and the user to have someone buy an RX 5700 series graphics card only to get fed up with problems months later and sell or return it for a GeForce item. No doubt, in the next upgrade cycle, it will be very difficult for that client to buy a Radeon. AMD should have taken a step back and addressed the issues with the RX 5700 series, instead of launching more Navi-based GPUs before pushing out more products that rely on the same buggy drivers. In the long term, it seems quite clear that rushing these products out before fixing major bugs will do more harm than good. A huge amount of pressure must also be placed on board partners who have to deal with unnecessary RMA requests. Conclusion: it is a positive for AMD to recognize the problems, which they at least did, but working on a 7-month-old product to fix them is not. As you know, the hardware itself is good, and we love the pressure it puts on the market for graphics cards, so we end up paying less for more capable GPUs. Hopefully, at this point, they're throwing every possible resource at this issue, and we'll have a proper fix shortly. Until then, when competing with Nvidia at a smaller price-to-performance ratio, it's going to be difficult to recommend Radeon graphics cards.
At this point in time, Nvidia is the only option around. AMD doesn't have a high-end offering, so.
That's why right now, it just doesn't make sense for anyone to buy an AMD graphics card. What do you think about AMD graphics cards? Do you agree that they aren't worth buying? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.